together. So this is 2x, and we've done this one about 3 times now. Okay, got it. But again, overall quotient, there's a chain rule problem within the quotient. Okay, you guys ready? You know what looks like a good derivative to do? This thing. Let's try this one. That looks like a good one to do. Okay? So let's do what overall, Katie, overall, what type of problem is this? Well, yeah, close, but you have to do something with the power rule. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You see, like, overall, like, it would be power rule if this was already just an x. You know what I'm saying? But it's a chain because I don't know that. The only thing I have to break this down to get started. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so what do you want to call u? Yeah, okay, I'll just call like I've been doing. U equals this thing. And then, so y equals u squared. Great, now we're cooking. So, okay, so I do my dy du. Oh, I am cooking now. Equals 2u. All right, here we go. I get du dx. And uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's a chain rule inside a chain rule. Okay? Well, before I take the derivative of this, let's call, I don't know, p equal to 5x. So that u equals 5p. Could I take the derivative? My goal, I want to get out of this du.
Wait, where's that 5p come from?
Thank you.
I was like, what?
Sine of p. There we go. Alright, so my goal is to get du dx out of this mess. Oh my goodness. Well, I could take the derivative of p in terms of x. Do you guys agree with that? Again, derivative of this p function in terms of x, and that would just be what? 5. I could take the derivative of this u function in terms of p. Do you guys agree with that? And I would get what? Yeah, you guys are getting this. If I wanted du dx, that would equal du dp, whatever the heck that is, times dp dx. Then these things would cancel out. So du dx equals du dp cosine of p, or cosine of 5x, times dp dx, which is 5. That's what my du, it is, it's getting crazy, Tom. That's why I'm doing it in blue. I just had to switch markers. So, now I have finally my du dx. And I have my dy du. And my goal, again, is to get dy dx. That's going to equal dy du, or 2 times u, which was sine of 5x. Oh my gosh. Times du dx, cosine of 5x, times 5 is the derivative of this. 2 sine of 5x times cosine of 5x times 5. Now that stunk. dy du, Magali, is 2u, or 2 times this, 2 this. Du dx was this whole thing, cos 5x times 5. Now, that's not how I do chain rule. This is how I do chain rule. If I see, once you get more than 2 things, this obviously is turned into a complete nightmare, yes?
Yeah.
Maybe not. So here's how I do it. If I recognize it's a chain rule problem, Again, it may just take a little practice, but I'll show you how I would do this. Equals. This just takes a little practice. If I wanted to take the derivative of this, what I do is I take derivatives of outside in. Meaning overall, this thing is kind of like, it's a chain rule, but it's a power to start. You see it, Katie? So the derivative is going to be bring down the 2, but leave everything alone. Raised to the 1. Times derivative of what's inside. Well, the derivative of what's inside is cosine of leave this alone. Times the derivative of what's inside of that is 5. And you get the same thing.
Wow.
It just takes practice. You know what I'm saying? What I would do if it's a two-stepper, I would write it out first. Like for example, the first one we did was, what was the first one? 4x plus 1 cubed? What was the first one we did, guys? 4x plus 1 cubed. I recognize this as a chain rule problem. Okay? I take the derivatives outside in. The derivative of this is going to be, I need to bring this 3 down first. 3. Leave this alone. You can't touch anything inside until you've done the first part. And then times the derivative of what's inside. Okay? The derivative of 4x plus 1 is 4. Does that make sense? And that should be what we got on that first problem, is it? Okay? What's going to happen, though, if you start doing this right away without practicing your dy, dus, du, dx's, is you're going to do this. You're going to say, bam, y prime is equal to 3, 4 squared. You're going to take all the derivatives in one pot of stew. You see what I'm saying? I took the derivative, I did the chain rule, or I did the power rule, and then I took that rule. So this is all, here's the derivative. You see what I'm saying? What I would suggest is starting out, set up your, set your u equal to, especially if it's just 2 things. If it gets 3, it gets a little messy, but 2 things, u equals this, so y equals that, set it up, and then multiply. Just so you get the practice of how it goes. And then as you move on, in a couple weeks, you should be going less towards that notation, and more towards just doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because I want you just to get these done after a lot of practice. Okay? How are we feeling with that, guys?